The night was cold, and the streets glistened with the faint sheen of rain, reflecting the flickering streetlights in puddles like shattered mirrors. Clara hurried along the cracked pavement, her coat wrapped tightly around her, her heart racing not from the chill but from the feeling of helplessness that had been gnawing at her all week. She had been working 2 jobs just to make rent, to keep her tiny apartment from becoming a distant dream, and yet, somehow, it never seemed enough. Life had a way of piling challenges on her shoulders, each one heavier than the last. That night, however, the universe had a different plan, one that would shake her entire world and test the very core of her compassion. As Clara passed a small, dimly lit park, she noticed a man sitting on a bench, slouched and weary, his hands trembling as he tried to wrangle a small child who clung to him with all the innocence and desperation of a child who had seen too much. The little boy's shoes were soaked, his jacket too thin for the bitter wind. Clara's heart clenched. She hesitated for only a second, torn between the instinct to keep moving and the undeniable urge to help. Before she knew it, she was kneeling beside them, offering the spare scarf she had tucked in her bag, smiling as warmly as she could manage, though her own worries tugged at her mind. The man looked up at her, eyes shadowed with fatigue, his voice rough from exhaustion as he muttered a quiet thank you. Clara noticed the crumpled receipts, the empty shopping bags, and the forlorn air that seemed to hang around him like a storm cloud. Without asking questions, she offered to help him get home, insisting that she could at least see them safely to a nearby shelter or a warm cafe. The man hesitated, pride warring with desperation, but eventually nodded. Clara felt a pang of understanding. She knew all too well the pain of swallowing pride when survival was on the line. As they walked together under the drizzle, Clara learned that the man's name was Ethan. He was a single dad, trying to hold together a fragile life for his young son, Liam, after a sudden divorce had left him juggling 2 jobs and endless responsibilities. His story was raw, filled with sleepless nights, unpaid bills, and moments of quiet despair that he carried like invisible scars. Clara felt a strange connection to him, a pull toward the kind of empathy that only comes when you've known hardship yourself. She offered him her spare umbrella, bought a warm drink for Liam from a nearby cafe, and listened as Ethan spoke in halting, tired sentences, confessing the helplessness that had been weighing him down. The hours passed like fleeting shadows. Clara stayed by their side, refusing to leave them alone on the street. She helped soothe Liam to sleep in Ethan's arms, humming quietly, letting him rest on the edge of exhaustion. And in that small, quiet moment, Clara saw a different side of humanity, one that was tender, fragile, and beautiful in its vulnerability. She realized that helping someone didn't always change the world, but it could change a night, a life, a small corner of the universe, if only for a moment. Before parting ways, Clara handed Ethan a small envelope with cash she could barely afford to spare, insisting that he use it for groceries or anything Liam needed. Ethan's eyes glistened with unspoken gratitude. There was a long pause, a silence that seemed to hold both weight and relief, before he whispered a heartfelt, "Thank you. I won't forget this." And Clara, brushing rain-soaked hair from her face, felt a warmth in her chest she hadn't realized she was missing, a sense of purpose, of connection, of shared humanity. If you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that a single act of compassion can ripple far beyond what we imagine. Weeks later, Clara walked into a bright, modern office building for what she thought would be a routine job interview. The tension in her chest was familiar, anxiety, hope, and the creeping fear of rejection intertwined like dark vines. She straightened her blazer, adjusted her hair, and reminded herself that this was a chance for stability, for a life she had been striving toward for so long. As she was guided to the interview room, she noticed a man at the reception desk. The moment their eyes met, her stomach dropped. The man from that rainy night, the weary single dad she had helped, stood there in a tailored suit, polished and composed, yet with a faint softness in his eyes that mirrored the exhaustion and resilience she remembered. Ethan. Her heart skipped. Her mind raced as the realization hit. This man was not just anyone, he was her new boss. The very man whose struggles had stirred her heart, whose vulnerability she had witnessed, was now the person she would answer to, collaborate with, and depend upon in her professional life. For a brief moment, fear, excitement, and a strange sense of destiny collided within her. How was she supposed to navigate this strange twist of fate? The man who had been human in his most raw, unguarded state was now an authority figure in her life, and yet, she saw the same kindness in his eyes, the same humility that had drawn her to help him that night. Their first meeting as colleagues was awkward at first, a delicate dance of unspoken memories and professional boundaries. Clara wondered if Ethan recognized her, if he remembered that night as vividly as she did. Over the days, however, she noticed subtle gestures, a soft glance of acknowledgement, a quiet nod of respect, a warmth in his leadership that set him apart from other bosses she had worked under. It became evident that the challenges Ethan had faced as a single dad had shaped him into a compassionate, understanding leader, someone who valued people over profit, humanity over hierarchy. Clara found herself inspired, motivated not just by the work itself but by the example he set every day. As the weeks passed, Clara learned that Ethan's life had remained a balancing act, even now in a position of professional success. He still juggled his responsibilities to Liam, often arriving early or staying late, always with a quiet determination to provide a life for his son that was safe, loving, and full of opportunity. Clara admired him more with each passing day, seeing the depth of his character, the integrity with which he approached life. She realized that her act of kindness had not only touched him but had also changed the course of her own journey. She was now working in an environment where empathy, perseverance, and resilience were valued above all. One evening, during a particularly hectic week, Clara stayed late to finish a project. She found Ethan in the conference room, reviewing documents with a focused intensity. When he noticed her, he smiled, a brief, genuine moment that reminded her of that rainy night months ago. Without saying a word, he gestured toward a chair, and they worked in quiet companionship, a shared understanding between them that transcended words. In that silence, Clara realized that life had a way of rewarding those who extended compassion without expectation, those who chose empathy over indifference, and those who dared to believe that small acts could have enormous consequences. Months turned into seasons. Clara and Ethan navigated professional challenges together, their bond growing stronger with mutual respect and understanding. She learned that helping someone wasn't just about the immediate act, it was about recognizing the humanity in others, offering support when they needed it most, and trusting that life had a way of returning that kindness in unexpected forms. Her admiration for Ethan deepened, not as a fairy tale romance but as a profound respect for a man who had faced life's harshest storms and emerged with his heart intact, ready to lead, protect, and nurture. The turning point came one quiet morning when Ethan confided in Clara, sharing a moment of vulnerability about the struggles he still faced as a single parent. His voice was calm, yet it carried the weight of unspoken fears. Clara listened, offering empathy and understanding, just as she had months ago in that park. In that moment, a circle had closed, the roles had shifted, yet the essence of their connection remained the same: mutual respect, shared humanity, and the quiet, enduring power of kindness. Clara realized that life's surprises, though sometimes daunting, often led to the most beautiful forms of growth, love, and resilience. As Clara reflected on her journey, she recognized that helping Ethan that night had not only changed his life but had also shaped hers in ways she could never have anticipated. She had learned that courage isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes, it's about showing up, offering a hand, and believing that even the smallest act can have profound consequences. She had discovered that empathy, compassion, and kindness are not just virtues, they are forces capable of transforming lives, of connecting strangers, and of creating moments that linger in the heart forever. Before you go, if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps spread stories of hope, resilience, and the quiet power of human kindness. And if this story moved you in any way, I'd love for you to comment below about a time someone's kindness changed your life. It's amazing to see how we're all connected through these acts of love. In the end, Clara realized that life is unpredictable, often cruel, yet endlessly beautiful. That rainy night, when she helped a struggling single dad with nothing but a scarf and a few coins, had opened a door to a future she never could have imagined. A future filled with connection, understanding, and the realization that sometimes, the person you help today may change your life tomorrow in ways you never dreamed. And as she walked through the office that day, glancing at Ethan across the room, she felt a quiet, unshakable certainty. Kindness is never wasted, and second chances are the most precious gifts of all.